Yeah, as far as my office is concerned, the cases that I immediately register, that is domestic violence and child neglect.
Okay.
Child neglect is about parents who don't provide fully for their children. Yeah.
What kind of domestic violence? Because when one hears of domestic violence, the first angling to the head is man beats woman or woman beats man. Yet there is also a possibility that the father figure in that house is mistreating the children, or perhaps as well, the children are violent to the parents or themselves. So when you say domestic violence, what categorization of domestic violence is offered on your table?
Yeah, okay. Let me elaborate more on that. When we talk about a family in the jurisdiction of matters of domestic violence, we don't only look at a home where there is a married couple living together.
Yes.
We also look at other families. Case in scenario, you can find a family where there is a grandmother staying with her grandchildren and they are older. So, like the domestic violence here that we are talking about depends on how this case comes in your office. Now, one, domestic violence only comes in a scenario where the incident has occurred within the premises of a home.
Okay.
And it has categories. We have the physical violence, which is the most commonly known, beating the other, injuring the other. Somebody uses like maybe like a sharp object and injures you, generally inflicting pain on your body. That is the physical violence. However, we also have other categories of domestic violence. Like we have the emotional violence. Emotional violence comes in where, somebody has done something to you that is so hurting, but has not beaten you, has not kind of like maybe, playing with your psychology. And it mostly results out of words that somebody does, the silent torture. I may come back home, I'm not talking to you, you greet me, I don't answer you. I go for work, I come, you...
certain gestures. And it's common with women. From there you'll hear her say,
So amongst the categories, emotional violence, I can say, is a danger to people's lives. How? Usually when you get to hear that somebody has committed suicide or like somebody just died without being sick, without being killed, it is always out of the emotional violence. Like somebody chooses even to keep what they are going through inside them. And with emotional violence, mainly affects the men because they don't have a culture of sharing out what they are going through. Yeah. So it mainly affects the men. And then we also have economic violence. Economic violence, this is where you and your spouse, you have your property, you have your businesses, but the other person has blocked you from accessing any money in the business. And then you could also be having maybe your matrimonial home that you could have constructed together, but your spouse chooses to go behind you and engages in plans of selling the property without your consent. So when you get to know by maybe having people coming around home to survey and see the kind of property they are going to buy, this prompts the other partner to come to the station. Then we also have sexual violence. And I wouldn't want people to mistake it for cases of rape, because the men out there can possibly be like, if she's my wife and I married her legally, then I have a right to engage with her whatever time I feel like. People have rights. Yes, I can be your wife and you're my husband, but maybe you don't work within my jurisdiction. You operate from Masaka and I am in Kasangati. We've spent 6 months without meeting, and I've been getting probably rumors about you, or you've been getting rumors about me, your wife, that I've not been faithful. So when you come back and I suggest we go for an HIV test and you decline, yet your status is positive, maybe you're already HIV positive, and you force me into the act and you infect me with HIV, that is sexual violence. But if you accept, maybe we go to the hospital and we are probably tested and we are a discordant couple, doctors always guide on how best you can live. Then there are other scenarios where you find that I've just given birth, I've just put to bed, and the doctors have advised I need a grace period of 3 months, and it is barely only 2 weeks. You're asking me, you're asking me out to engage with you, and I am unable, and you force me into the act. You are going to cause like more complications on my life. So we usually encourage people at times, like these are things that people need to agree on. Yeah, so those are the categories of some of the cases that we always register at the station. But with the Child and Family Protection Department, like Madam Betty already kind of like emphasized on, our interest is not to arrest, that if you arrest someone and detain, that it's a tick. No. For Child and Family Protection, actually, if I handle a case and the couples reconcile, they forgive each other and go back to the same home and live harmoniously, that is a tick.
Wow.
Other than taking them to court, because that is not our mandate.